The strange thing about the middle class is that almost everyone inside it believes they are one promotion away from finally feeling rich. One raise, one better apartment, one nicer car, one bigger paycheck, and then, finally, life will feel easy. But somehow, it never happens. You make more money, then suddenly your rent gets higher, your car payment gets bigger, your lifestyle quietly upgrades, and the strange feeling returns. You still feel behind, still stressed, still checking your account before buying something small, still wondering, why does life still feel expensive? And this is the strange psychological trap of the modern middle class. Because most people don't realize, the middle class was never designed to feel rich. In fact, it may be designed to feel almost rich. And that difference changes everything. Because the feeling of almost is powerful, almost successful, almost financially free, almost comfortable, almost there, but never quite arriving. And the scary part? Even people making six figures often feel exactly the same. Some salaries only buy better-looking stress. So why does this happen? Why do millions of people earn more money than ever before, yet still quietly feel financially trapped? To understand that, we have to start with a promise. The promise of more money. Because when most people are young, money feels simple. You imagine adulthood like this. If I make enough money, everything gets easier. At $30,000 a year, you imagine life at $60,000. At $60,000, you dream about $100,000. At $100,000, maybe you think, once I hit $200,000, then I'll finally relax. The assumption always sounds reasonable. More money equals less stress, but reality behaves differently. Because when income rises, expectations rise too. Imagine someone named Alex. At 24 years old, Alex makes $40,000 a year. Small apartment, cheap furniture, old car. Takeout feels expensive. Vacations are rare. Alex tells himself, one day, when I make real money, life will feel better. Fast forward 6 years. Alex now earns $95,000. Success, right? Bigger apartment, nicer clothes, car payment, better restaurants, monthly subscriptions, weekend trips. The old apartment had silence. The new apartment has marble counters and anxiety attached to auto pay. And somehow, Alex feels exactly the same amount of pressure because the target moved again and again and again. This is where most people unknowingly enter the trap called lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation sounds harmless, but psychologically, it changes everything. Because humans adapt faster than they realize. That exciting apartment? Normal after 6 months. The nicer salary? Normal after a year. The better car? Eventually becomes invisible. You stop feeling richer because your life simply resets around the new normal. And this creates a dangerous illusion. You believe you are upgrading your life, but sometimes you are only upgrading your expenses. This is why raises often feel disappointing. Not because the raise is small, but because expectations expand at the exact same speed. You buy convenience, you buy comfort, you buy status, and slowly, your fixed costs begin controlling you. A bigger apartment means bigger rent. A nicer car means payments. Higher income neighborhoods mean higher spending expectations. Friend groups change. Social standards shift. And without realizing it, your financial freedom quietly shrinks. Many people are not building wealth. They are renting a lifestyle they can barely maintain. This is why many middle-class people feel rich on payday and stressed again 2 weeks later. The income increased, but freedom didn't. And then something strange happens. Comparison enters the story. Because money is emotional, very emotional. Most people do not compare themselves to billionaires. They compare sideways, to coworkers, friends, neighbors, people online. The person with the newer car, the bigger house, the luxury vacation. And suddenly, success becomes relative. You are no longer asking, "Am I doing okay?" You start asking, "Why does everyone seem ahead of me?" And social media made this worse, because now comparison follows you everywhere. Breakfast, lunch break, before bed. You scroll past promotions, luxury apartments, travel photos, designer purchases, engagement rings, new homes, and quietly, your normal life begins feeling smaller, even if, objectively, you are doing better than ever. This is one reason the middle class rarely feels rich, because rich is emotional, and emotions compare. But there is another reason, and this one is harder to admit. Many people confuse income with wealth. They are not the same thing. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays. Someone earning $80,000 with savings, investments, and low expenses may feel more secure than someone making $250,000, drowning in debt and payments. But society trains us to admire visible success. Cars, clothes, luxury apartments, expensive dinners, status signals. Things designed to look rich, not necessarily be rich. And that distinction matters, because many middle-class households become trapped maintaining an image of success. A house slightly too expensive, a car slightly too luxurious, a lifestyle slightly too stretched. Nothing catastrophic, just expensive enough to create permanent pressure. And permanent pressure creates something dangerous: financial anxiety, even among high earners. This is why six figures often disappoint people. For decades, $100,000 sounded like the finish line, a symbol, a dream, something that meant you had officially made it. But inflation changed reality. Housing changed reality. Healthcare changed reality. Education changed reality. Taxes changed reality. Lifestyle expectations changed reality. And suddenly, $100,000 in many places feels comfortable. Not rich. Sometimes not even comfortable, just manageable. Which creates an uncomfortable realization. The number was never the solution, because the feeling people want is not money. It is safety, freedom, breathing room, the ability to stop worrying. And money alone does not guarantee that, especially when spending rises beside it. So what actually makes people feel rich? Ironically, it is often the opposite of what society sells. Real wealth is flexibility. It is having low financial pressure, low fixed costs, investments quietly growing, cash reserves, time, options, the ability to say no, the ability to survive unexpected problems, the ability to leave a toxic job, the ability to take a break. Because freedom feels richer than appearance. And this is where many middle-class people accidentally miss the point. They chase income, but ignore ownership. They increase salary, but never reduce dependence. They become high earners without becoming financially free. Which leads to a strange modern reality. You can make good money and still feel trapped. You can earn six figures and quietly panic every month. You can look successful and privately feel exhausted. Because looking rich and feeling secure are two very different things. And maybe that is the biggest psychological trick of the middle class. You are encouraged to keep climbing, keep upgrading, keep spending, Keep chasing the next version of life, because maybe, just maybe, the next paycheck will finally feel like enough. But for many people, enough never arrives. Because enough is not a salary number. It is a relationship with money, a mindset, a system. And once you understand that, something changes. You stop asking, how much do I need to look successful? And start asking, what would make me feel free? Because maybe real wealth was never about looking rich. Maybe it was waking up without fear. Maybe it was owning more of your time. Maybe it was peace. And maybe the middle class never feels rich because nobody taught them what rich actually means.